Hi friends, I have another craft for you today. Today we are making fabric pumpkins. Isn't this cute? I was just going to do burlap pumpkins, and that's the one I'm going to show you today. It's the same concept as a fabric pumpkin, but not everybody likes burlap. I don't know how that's possible, but it is possible. And so you can also make them out of any kind of fabric. This happens to be a napkin, a fabric napkin. I love it. It's so cute. I have another one that is a different, same color pattern, but or palette, but a different pattern. And so I'm gonna make several of these because you know me, I'm kind of pumpkin crazy. But it's actually no sew. We don't have to sew this thing. I don't sew. And it's pretty easy. So let me show you. So we're just gonna make a tube out of your fabric. I'm starting, this is 12 by 16 is what I'm starting with right here. And that's what makes this size of a pumpkin. But this was a little bigger because it was a cloth napkin. So, you know, you can make them all shapes and sizes. It doesn't matter. But the concept is you cut your fabric and then you need to make a tube out of it. So this one I sewed. I took needle and thread. I took the 12 inch, so you got 12 by 16. I took the 12 sides, the shorter sides together, and I sewed them. I did a little whip stitch with a needle and thread. But it came out. It's come loose a little bit. So if you're gonna do that with burlap, make sure you go into the fabric a little bit. I wanted it as wide as possible, so I was kind of close to the edge. But make sure you go into the burlap fabric a little bit to do your whip stitch so that it holds together better. But this is mine, and I don't care. You know me, I like rustic. So I did put the pumpkin, this is jute. I put it over the seam to kind of camouflage it, but it's all good. This one, I am using, what is this stuff? Wonder Under, but any kind of this tape stuff that you can get at the store to seal it. So I haven't tried this one, so we're gonna see how this one works. So if you're tying it together with sewing, iron it opened up. Like you sew these two pieces together, iron it opened up. But if you are adding this tape, again, no sew, you just kind of iron it to one side. So what you do is I didn't want to do all this on video. But you undo the tape, it's got a rough edge to it, you lay it on one of your sides and you iron it down. Then you take the paper off, because there's a protective paper, and you meet the other side of your fabric and iron it down. Just read the directions. It works great and fast and no sewing. So then we need jute. So you cut strings. So this is 12 by 16. I cut my strings about 16 inches long. Plenty of space. I'm gonna have to cut extra off. I cut 6 of them, and then I tied a knot at the top. And so you're putting it inside of your tube, which is still inside out, right? I haven't flipped anything. It's still got this tape on it. And then I'm just gathering at the top and putting a rubber band on it. So I'm gathering at the seam and then the edges, because I'm just crazy like that, but it makes a nice gather. Then I'm gonna grab a rubber band and tie around it, making sure that the knot is on the outside. And then I kind of tug and get the knot nice and secure in there. So it's not going anywhere. That rubber band's holding it. It's not gonna go anywhere. And then now I'm gonna flip the whole thing inside out. Just like this, see? That inside out. Now all of my jute cords are hanging outside of it, and the knot is on the inside, so it's gonna be nice and secure, right? It's not gonna go anywhere. That's it. I'm making a mess. I forgot to put my little plastic up here. That is one thing about burlap. It's a little messy, but it sure looks good. Now we just need to stuff it. So if you have some polyfill, or I have some stuffing from an old pillow. Same difference. It's a good way to do something with these old flat pillows that you can't sleep on anymore. So I'm just pulling this out. And making my pumpkin as fat or skinny as I want, packing it down there. So you just play with it a little bit, make sure you got a flat-ish bottom. Again, you can always maneuver that around because this is your own pumpkin. You can do it the way you want to. You can do a bigger piece of fabric, a smaller piece of fabric, have a whole little family of pumpkins. So how much do I want? How big do I want this pumpkin? That's a nice size pumpkin, similar to the one I have. So I don't need this anymore. I need another rubber band to tie off my top. So I'm just pushing it in there as, you know, dense as I want it to be. And then grab another rubber band. And I'm gonna show you how to do the edges of this pumpkin. You know, like the creases that you get in a real pumpkin. I think I'll go 3 times. Don't worry, we're gonna cut the excess off. All right, I'm a little crooked. Let's center this up. Oh, goodness gracious. Let me try this again. Try to see if I can get this dude more center. Put my rubber band back on here. I'll show you how to do the sections. There we go. I like that. See, he's looking like a pumpkin. Now it's time to do your sections. You take one of your 6, pull it up, and we're gonna wrap it around and tie it. So I'm gonna do one right over the seam though. Look how nice my seam is. It looks great. I'm gonna do one at the edge of that so I don't bring as much attention to it. I'm gonna pull it tight enough to get a little pucker because I want a pucker pumpkin shape. And then I'm just gonna tie a knot. Because don't worry, we're gonna hide all this. So I'm just tying a knot up here at the top. And this is my first section. I'm gonna tie it twice to make it an actual knot and not just flip through, because I wanna store this and keep it for years. There we go. Just like that. Now, you can do whatever makes sense to you, but I'm gonna take a string to the other side and like split my pumpkin in half. So just wrap it around once and tie it. Make sure to pull it tight enough that you're making a pucker. If you want your pumpkin to have a little indentions, that's what we're going for here. And once we get all these on there, we can move the jute around and divide it out more even if that's needed. So let me tie this twice so I actually have a knot. See? Pull my pumpkin bottom down a little bit. All right, now I got 4 more, right? So I have 2 halves, or close to a half, and I'm going to divide it into thirds. I'm going to somewhat do that as I'm tying off my string, but I can adjust it once I have them all tied. So you just finish tying all of these. There's one. Make sure you have a little tight pucker. Tie it all the way. I'm going to do one side at a time. So So I've divided one of my halves into thirds. There's 1/3. I'm gonna put my other one up here. And see how I keep wrapping around where that rubber band is. So guess what? If that rubber band decides to pop at some point, break while I'm got it stored up in my attic or something, it gets too hot or whatever happens to rubber bands that make them break, I don't have anything to worry about because I got all of these jute ropes hanging around the exact same spot, and my work won't fall apart. And here's that side. Now I'm going to do this side, and then I will show you how to do the stem. So up we go. Pull a little bit, so I've got it puckered and tie them up. Then my last one. Let's see. Is that the last one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, that's my last one. Go around. I don't know if you've noticed, but I have even gone around to the left and gone around to the right. I've just noticed. I don't know why I did that, but it doesn't matter. Make a pucker and tie this off. There we go. Now I'm just going to shift my guys around a little bit so that I divide it up the way I want it. I think I went a little over to the edge somehow, but no big deal. I'm just going to spread it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I like that. Give it a little squish. Make sure it will sit flat-ish for me. So see how I'm just playing with it a little bit to get it to look the way I want it to look. See? Isn't that cute? Don't worry about these strings. They've got a purpose. We'll get rid of them. The next thing is the stem. So I have these a little long. You want to have them at least like 1.5 inches, I'd say. So I'm going to cut some of the top of this off. Or you can wrap it first. We're going to wrap it with jute. I like mine kind of long because my leaves are taking up some space. Is that good? I'll start it and I'll probably end up trimming some off. So all you do with this is you start at the bottom, and look, I'm not tying a knot. I'm just going to wrap over it. And then I'm going to wrap all the way up and all the way down. So I'm just making a nice little ring up here. Oops. Maybe that's a little longer than I want. All right, that's as tall as I want to go. So I'm going to cut some more of the top off. Now I'm going back down. And when I get to the bottom, I'm just going to tie it off to that original piece. This kind of hides the knots from the from our original jute also. And I'm just going to tie a knot. And I'm going to hide that with the leaves. Ta-da! Cut this off. Cut this off. Look, aren't we looking like a pumpkin? Cute. Now I'm gonna cut the edge off because like I said, I think I made that too long. So just trimming off at the top. Come on, come on. All right. That cute? Ta-da! He's looking really good. And then, so now I've got all these little strings, right? If you look at this one, I've got some curlicue ones. So all you do with that is you pick which ones you want. I did like 3. And you put some Mod Podge on these and get them wet and wrap them around a pencil, just like this. And you might want to take some foil and put it underneath so you do not get any of the Mod Podge on your work. So I took a piece of foil and put a hole in it and put it on top. Then you soak this in Mod Podge and you roll it around the pencil. You hold it for 10 minutes, which we're not going to do because we don't have 10 minutes of that on our video. You leave it there for 10 minutes and then you work your pencil out, and only 10 minutes, set a timer, because you don't want it glued to your pencil, right? But you want the curlicue. And then you just pull it off and you get cute little curlicues. So I did, I have 6, right? Excuse me. So I did 3 of them in curlicues. 1, 2, 3. And then the other 3, I frayed. I unraveled my jute and just frayed it because I like that look. If you can see it. I like that look. I just frayed it. Lots of options. If you don't want curlicues, you don't want any of that, just cut them off. Put a little bit of glue on your, you can use Mod Podge. Put a little bit of glue on your knot so it doesn't come undone. And just snip them off. Just snip them off. No problem. So if you don't want the curlicues. And then the leaves I used are just, they're off of like a bush. You can get like a leaf bush at Dollar Tree or Walmart or whatever, and you have a whole bunch of them. And I just pulled some of those off and put them on top. Put a little glue on there so they don't go anywhere. And you've got yourself a pumpkin. That's exactly what I did with this one. And with my napkin pumpkin, my fall napkin pumpkin. Same concept. You get the leaves exactly where you want them. They can help cover up the knot if you want. And curlicue your edges. Now here's another idea. If you want these curlicues, but you don't want to mess with the Mod Podge because it is messy and it takes 10 minutes to dry. If you don't want to mess with all that, if you go to any kind of craft store, even Dollar Tree, they have wired jute. And I've used it before in some of our other crafts. It's already got it. You just put a ring around it. It looks just like this jute. You just wrap it around once, take your pencil, curlicue it, boom, you're done. You don't even have to do the Mod Podge stuff. And that's it. Fabric pumpkins. Who knew? So fun and easy, super cute. And I hope you liked it. And we'll see you next time. Bye.